Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the PAPAJO Show, where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe, and I really appreciate you all being here today. First things first, if you like the content on the show, smash a like on the video and or the other videos. If you'd like to learn more about other things that I am working on, go ahead and check out my website, which is linked in the description of the video as well. And one of the other things I do with my shows here is that I like to do a Patreon show. The Patreon show is where I get to do the unfiltered Papa Joe, if you will, where we get to discuss different things that would typically get a video removed from YouTube and any other platforms for that matter. So that's there for you guys if you're enjoyment. If you would like to jump in there and help the channel out, that is at 4:30 Eastern every single day, just like this one is at 12:30 Eastern every single day. Also, if you want to help the channel out, scrolling bottom of the screen here, Crypto Confidential, check that out. It's an investment, but it is worth that investment because the access you get to the different people that are behind that and the content that is created in that, we'll call it private group. It's a very interesting way to put that. So anyways, as I mentioned, we are shifting up the show's format. So we're going to jump right into the content here in just a minute. But before we do that, I wanted to talk about some of the discussion points I'm seeing on the horizon, if you will, or being discussed in the different realms, if you will, around recession. And that is something that we all dealt with not too long back, in 2008, 2009. And then how it directly correlates into our economy with the rising inflation as well. But there was one other thing I was going to say, but it is what it is. Oh, if you have any questions, comments, there's a live chat running. Go ahead and have it pop in there and say hey, if nothing else. But we will get to the chat towards the end of the video, and we'll use it as a Q&A time as well. So if you guys have any questions, concerns, things you want to talk about, or things you want to see, excuse me, the mute did not work there. Go in and pop in a question in the chat, and then I'll try to address those towards the end of the show here. Not coffee today. Burdock root tea. So very, very good, but lots of beneficial things for the body as well. A lot of people think I'm silly for drinking that, but it is what it is. So let's jump right into the content today, shall we? All right. So over the weekend, Bitcoin took a nice, wonderful dump. Not really, but it is what it is. And the bulls have been trying to get it to come back up ever since then. So we're below 40,000 again. Well, we've got a definite issue going on here. But like I say every day with this, traders and the regular stock market are trading the Bitcoin and crypto markets just like they do with the regular markets. You get the major indices, excuse me. I don't know how people say that. They're all not correlated, which is interesting. I like that. I don't know, on the 15-minute at least. Gold is up, and so is silver, which is fantastic. This is, for those of you who are new, a time during the day where I personally like to go look at the charts, check in on the day. I typically don't have the time because I still do a full-time job, and I go straight into the show right after that. So I like to do these live. You get me raw. You get me as me. There's no editing. There's no anything else. Maybe eventually I'll get to editing where it's more clean and pristine and whatnot. But I like just talking to you guys. You guys and gals are fantastic. Matic is having some fun. It's up and down, which is good. I think Matic is going to be a big deal as things continue to take off from just a business standpoint. Not financial advice, but you should really take a look at Matic. That, and I really suggest Divi. The Divi project is an interesting one to say the least. Just gotta put it out there. It is an interesting one to say the least. So, now, shifting gears here real quick. Goldman Sachs sees some risk in the U.S. economy will stumble and fall into recession in the next 24 months. Who's been saying that? Oh, I haven't been talking about recession, but I have definitely been talking about the economy definitely having some issues in the not too far future. Here on the PAPAJO Show, we talk about not only crypto in general, we also talk about all of the different things going on around the world, right? And on the Patreon show, that's where we really, really dig into the things that, well, stuff like what's really going on in Russia, stuff that's like really going on with the Hunger Disease, stuff that's been really going on and behind the scenes with those types of things. So I don't always talk about those things because I have to sporadically put it in there just to ensure that the videos stay alive. We'll put it that way. It's just to make sure that we have the content there for you all to enjoy. So the firm sees a 35% chance of recession in the next 2 years. Well, what does that mean for us? Okay. When last time we had a recession, it was really, really rough, right? So there in this article, they actually point out that we had one at the beginning of the whole pandemic and everything that took place with that. I found it very interesting they actually included that as a recession, which it kind of was. All of the, like, everyone pulled out of all of the airlines, everyone pulled out of all the different industries into cash, right? Well, this time around, I don't know what the trigger is going to be. I don't think really anybody knows other than high inflation, which we'll kind of talk about here in a minute. I keep saying it and I'm not going to stop saying it. Crypto, Bitcoin is the exit strategy for this stuff, okay? When these markets start collapsing, which they are literally teetering right now, they're going to completely collapse and people are going to stop trusting the dollar. They're going to, nope, not doing the dollar. They're going to go right into crypto. That is what's going to happen. It's already happening now. I was reading an article yesterday where 67% of the Bitcoin purchased on exchanges leaves the exchanges. So people are withdrawing their crypto off the exchange when they buy it. The thing was, it was specifically talking about Bitcoin. That kind of made me go, well, this is going to be interesting. But why isn't the prices driving up? Everyone should be asking that question. They have done derivatives with Bitcoin. They've done derivatives with these things. That's what exchanges are. These are centralized exchanges that are doing a derivative type of a trade with Bitcoin. It doesn't actually hit the chain until you pull it off. Well, 67% of those have been hitting the chain and being pulled off. Why don't we have a 67% rise in value? Well, you should be asking that question. I have been asking that question. Anyways, there's a real chance the U.S. economy is going to suffer a recession or a hard landing, as they like to put it, in the next 2 years, according to the economic team at Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs has an interesting view on crypto. They have an interesting view on the economy. They have an interesting view on inflation. All are starting to realistically become correlated and tied together. Now, it's very interesting saying that they're saying that the odds of recession is about 15% in the next 12 months and 35% over the next 24 months. People, if they're even talking about this being an odd, it's or some sort of statistic at all, it's very, very, very likely that, well, it's going to happen. Realistically speaking, we are starting to see everything crack. I didn't pull an article up about it, but it was around housing. And Boise, Idaho is the number one premium spot in the country. People were paying 76+% over value on a home and over asking price, excuse me. So in that one particular area, well, guess what? They stopped. In my area, it was also on that list. And in my area, people, I think the statistic was that people had almost unanimously across the board done a price cut because no one all of a sudden bought their house within the first week. That's saying something. That's saying something as far as how people are getting financing. I don't know if it's that or if they're having issues with hey, let's not touch anything. This is too rocky now, too shaky. I don't know what it is, right? I don't know. but it is going to be very interesting to see things. With inflation above, so this is not the true inflation number. 8% is not, 8.5% is not the true inflation number, as I mentioned on the Patreon show. And I'll throw that number out here now because you guys and gals who are part of the Patreon, you get early access to this type of information, and I talk about it later in these shows. Or when I do interviews, they go on the Patreon first as early access to you all. So you get couple of days. If it's an important video, I'll blast it everywhere, right? But and hopefully that makes sense for everybody. It does in my mind, and I appreciate it when people do that when it's important. So, anyways, inflation. Well, guess what went up as well for wholesale prices? It was 11.2% last checked. That's going to be passed down into the CPI, or the Consumer Price Index, which is what you're going to be end up paying more of. Wholesale prices get passed down. If those prices go up, that eats into the margin that the businesses get to actually enjoy. And if that's getting cut into, well, guess what? Your prices are going to go up because they're not going to let their margins shrink like that. It is how it works. That's how they're going to do it. Just wait. Just wait. So they're saying that it's going to happen. It's very interesting that they're actually saying that here's the percentages that's going to happen. They're putting the low percentages going to happen so that way they can gently get you ready for what's coming. That's all they're going to do. They're going to gently get you ready for what's coming. Okay. Now, guess what? All of a sudden, this is why I wanted to talk about this on the show today. All of a sudden, everyone is obsessed with recession. Okay. This was April 11th. So this was a few days ago. It coming into the holiday this past weekend. I did not cover these things. Kind of want to just jump into it today, just see if anything crazy would happen. But guess what? It is becoming a big problem now. By sometime next year, the U.S. economy may be limping around like Tiger Woods this past weekend in the Masters. So he's saying, sorry, Tiger, I had to go there. Apparently he got whatever, he was just limping around. I don't know. I didn't watch the Masters. I don't watch sports anymore. Has anyone stopped watching sports anymore? Like, I love playing golf, or I love go tossing the football around, or ultimate frisbee, or whatever, different things. I quit watching stuff, though. I don't spend time doing it. I will go research things. I will go learn things, as you guys and gals know. That's part of what I do with the show here. Anyhow, and let's see here. And just like watching the Legends shaky performance at the Masters, it's almost hard to believe that we are even sitting here pontificating on a recession. The unemployment rate is near record low levels. Sub 30-year-olds have never felt more emboldened to change jobs 5 times in under 3 years to boost their LinkedIn profile. And yes, skills in some cases. And send out the proverbial professional news tweet up to their 100 followers. So, I don't know if this is the same for you guys and gals, but in my industry, where I've spent the majority of my career, if you change jobs, typically that job change is for a higher pay rate, which people are willing to pay for your skill set, right? And in my industry, if you are at a job more than 2 years, you're considered an old timer or a tenured employee. If you're there 5 years or more, you're kind of basically put into a category where they expect you to retire from that company. Well, that's yes and no. Yes and no. Where I'm at right now, I thoroughly enjoy what I'm doing and thoroughly enjoy the team I'm working with and the flexibility that I have to work when I need to and get the things done and do the things I need to do and not feel like I have I feel like the whole world is on me. Like if I don't do something, something's going to break, right? And not necessarily, well, technically that does happen too, but that's just a little bit different. Anyways, I'm pointing this out because the people who are in their 20s, basically, they will change jobs a lot right now to get a higher pay rate, if nothing else. And they'll learn some things too along the way. But that's realistically what they're doing. And they can. That's very, very real. That's not, you don't get a raise really at where you work. Maybe you might in corporate America, maybe you might get your 3% raise for cost of living increases. Well, the cost of living isn't going to be 3%. It's well above 10%. It's well above probably 15% if we're realistic about things. Nobody got a 15% raise who was in corporate America, if you got one at all, right? So it's one of those things that you have to be. This is how that younger generation does this. They're like, well, okay, you're not going to give me a raise. I'm going to go find another job that's going to give me that raise and more. And then when they don't meet that raise or meet that cost of living increase, they're going to go find another job and get more. That's kind of what that is about. So that's starting to happen. And the thing about this, though, is really, really confusing to a lot of people. Corporate profit margins remain near record highs as employers suck every last ounce of productivity from tired, overworked employees, just wondering if their package of chicken thighs for dinner will cost them 20% more next week. Inflation is increased the cost of chicken breast. Yeah, well, that's not just the only thing they've raised costs. You guys see what I'm kind of getting at here? We're heading into a daggone recession. I hope you're ready, because this time around, this isn't going to be like the 2008, 2009, or 2000s, or whatever, okay? When the economy pulls back like this time around, the inflation has never been as high as it has ever in our country's history that I know of. I'm thinking of, time adjustment for the dollar, and they've actually burned through the dollar and all that fun stuff, right? So I'm thinking that I'm looking at it as objectively as I can. We are in for a mess that we have never seen in this nation's history. It's going to get really messy. Real quick, a real pause. Who's drinking coffee, tea, whatever? This is burdock root tea. I absolutely love this stuff. Makes you feel really, really good in your body. Also has lots of really good stuff for like your skin and things like that. Also, just as a note here as well, put your questions in the chat, and we'll get to those towards the end of the show, and we'll kind of walk through that walk through the chat as well. So, in just a few minutes here. Anyways, wanted to throw out there that we are going to start seeing some very unique things happening. Deutsche Bank chief U.S. economist Matthew Luzetti, while timing the exact quarters of negative growth is never easy, we see the Fed's tightening beginning to materially slow growth in the second half of 2023. Our baseline forecast has negative quarters for growth in Q4 2023 and Q1 2024. Consistent with a recession during that time, the mild recession we anticipate, should nonetheless lead to a meaningful rise in unemployment, which peaks above 5% in 2024. I don't know what these people think they're doing, or what they think that they're doing, or anything. What I can tell you right now, this is not normal. Nothing about this is normal. It's going to get really bad this time. I really hope that you guys and gals are trying to get your families and friends to be aware of this. I am. I have people coming to me asking me to watch a video, and I haven't watched it yet, but I'm like, I have been talking about this stuff for the past 10 plus years, and now you're listening to some arbitrary person who finally gets a video of things together. I'm like, guys, gals, why didn't you listen to me? I'm the nuts crazy one, but they're not, just because I don't know. It takes the seeds to be planted for things to grow, right? Recession risks are comfortably high and moving higher, Mark Zandi says. The war in Ukraine, red hot inflation, and rapid interest rate hikes. The economic recovery that began 2 years ago now faces credible threats that could lead us to a premature demise. No, that's what happens when you have fiat currency. That's why Bitcoin and sound money being real, Litecoin, sound money being real, and you have the other blockchain platforms that are building the economy of tomorrow. The economy we see today is going to be completely collapsed. It is going to go away. The U.S. economy that we have today is going to shift into a blockchain-based economy. It will, because blockchain is very much like the internet. No one wanted to believe that the internet was going to be anything. No one wanted to believe that email was going to be anything. They wanted to send things via USPS. They wanted to send things the old-fashioned slow mail. Okay? No, that is not anymore. Everyone thought the internet was a joke. They didn't understand it. Everyone thinks blockchain is a joke. They don't understand it. Well, guess what? Those of us who do understand it, we realize that this is the new industry. This is the new economy that will be built. And everything that you do and everything that I do will touch it in some way, form, or fashion. Whether it's your medical records, whether it's buying something a home, buying something a car via NFTs, whether it's getting a mortgage or a loan of any kind, it will all be related to a blockchain in some form or fashion. It will. The economy that we have today, as we know it, is going to fundamentally change, but it has to collapse first. And I really hope that you guys and gals are ready for it. I am. I think. I guess no one really knows, but it's going to be very, very interesting. Recession risks are uncomfortably high and moving higher. Before the Russian invaded, you gotta love these guys, gals, these stupid news media, right? Before Russia invaded Ukraine, economists hoped energy prices and overall inflation would cool off this spring and summer. Now the inflation outlook is darkened. The prices of gasoline, food, meat, metals, and other raw materials are rising sharply. No, it's because they printed so much money. It has nothing to do with the invading Ukraine. Absolutely nothing to do with it. Okay, maybe the fuel supply. A little bit. But had they not stopped the Keystone XL pipeline, we wouldn't be having this problem. We would be still in the energy independent, and this whole Green New Deal bullcrap would not be a problem anymore. Well, it wouldn't be discussed at all. Hang on. Sometimes when you do loose leaf tea or whatever, it collects at the bottom, and I wanted to make sure I got it. So, anyways, sorry about that. It is so much fun looking at this stuff. And they actually call out Goldman Sachs here as well, which is very interesting. A line that cannot be crossed. The worsening inflation picture could force Federal Reserve to do more to knock inflation down into healthy levels. Consumer prices surged 7.9% in February, in the biggest 12-month spike in 4 years. But that inflation report did not capture the impact of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. This is what they're trying to blame this whole thing on. They forget that it was there beforehand, and people's attention span is so low. Please don't lose sight of what's really going on. Please don't lose sight of what's going on. Hot economy, rising inflation. The Fed has never successfully fixed a problem like this before. Ever. The Federal Reserve is setting out to do something it has never accomplished before. Reduce inflation a lot without significantly raising unemployment. Well, that doesn't happen. People are going to lose their jobs when they raise the interest rates. And that's what's going to happen. And the cost of things is going to continue to skyrocket. Not financial advice, legal, or tax advice, but I seriously, seriously hope you guys and gals have got gold, silver, and crypto. People are going to run out of this market into crypto because they can. They're not going to be able to get gold and silver because it's already gone. It's taken up. It's not going to be possible to obtain it. It just won't be. Central banks officials think that it's possible with calibrated interest rate increases that slowly booming demand, just enough to take steam out of the overheated economy. But even one of the Fed's closest allies, the U.S. Treasury Janet Yellen, sees the risk of failure. It will require skill, also good luck, the former Fed chair said in a public comments in Washington last week. Yeah, good luck. No, it's not going to happen. And unfortunately, people are going to seriously get hurt. This is why I'm trying to grow this channel. I want people to get what I'm saying here. I'm looking at this in a very different point of view, okay? You got people out there doing the technical analysis. We need them to do that. You got people out there who are just Bitcoins. You got people out there who are everything but Bitcoin. You got people who are everything including Bitcoin. You got all these people out there who are talking about these cryptos and these blockchain platforms, and they all great. You guys and gals tell me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm really trying hard to connect the dots for everything. That's what I do with this show. I'm trying to do the show. You've got the economy. You've got crypto. You've got gold and silver. You've got inflation. You've got whatever. Here's how this is going to fix this, and blockchain this, and that's going to fix all these different things. That's what we do here. I want the channel to grow because I really, really feel like this information is not something people need to pass by. So towards the end of the show here, like I've said before at the beginning of the thing, throw your questions, comments, whatever, in the chat, the live chat. I'm going to get through here in just a second, go through it and talk to everybody. But do me a favor. If you've gotten this far into the video, smash the like, and you like the content, smash the like. It helps other people find the content. Also, if you would not mind grabbing the channel and share it on your socials, I really want people to get this information. I feel like it's necessary. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't feel like realistically, no one was doing this. No one was connecting the dots. Everyone's like, price this, price that, price this, price that. And I'm like, that's great. That's important. But no one's sitting there going, this is how this is going to solve these problems. This is how this is going to happen. And that's why I actually started my business. Aster, okay? It's linked in the description of the channel. If you want a one-on-one consultation, grab some time with me. If you are a business and you have some thoughts or projects you want to run by someone who could sit there and say, yes, that would work, or no, that wouldn't work. If nothing else, maybe even do a joint venture with you. There's time for that as well. Grab that time. Anyways, let's jump in here and look and see who we got in the chat today. Good morning, Tom. What's going on? Sorry about that. I don't know why that showed up there. How you doing? It's good to appreciate you being here. Bitcoin Management Jim, what's going on? How are you? Lithia, good morning. How are you doing? And it was a wonderful Resurrection Day. We call it Resurrection Day in our house. Daddy-O, what's going on? Good morning. How you doing? Kim, how's it going? Appreciate you being here. Bitcoin Bull, latecomer, good morning. Happy Easter, y'all. It is better late than never, my friend. It really, really is. Let's see who else we got here. Manny, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Good morning. Appreciate you all being here today. Bitcoin Bull, play poker, PAPAJO. From time to time, we'll do something like that. I prefer blackjack, though, if you want to do anything like that. Let's see who else we got in here. We'll be listening. Yep, no worries. It is busy for sure. Yes, Daddy-O, that is an understatement. This is going to get really brutal this time around. There's so many factors that have never really been there, except maybe the Great Depression. And then that's going to be very, very crazy. Now I am listening to other people telling me what you and I already know, but them before you said crazy. But them before you say you're crazy. Yeah, Manny, I have a lot. So I have a Telegram channel that is set up specifically to talk about things that are off the beaten path, so to speak. Stuff you gotta eat chicken, leave the bone for. And that is, I'm not the only one who posts there. I have a team of people who do that. But it's one of those things that I've been trying for several years to get friends and family before even doing that, just to say, hey, this is coming in the pipe. This is what's going on under our feet. This is what's happening behind our backs. I don't think people are like, yeah, you're nuts, you're crazy. Like, PAPAJO, he's lost his mind. Not the same person anymore. And now they're coming back to me and they're like, have you watched this video? Have you seen this? And I'm like, I've been saying that. Where were you back then? It's been crazy. The crazier they think you are, the more correct you are. Daddy-O, you could not be more correct there for sure. So nobody, questions, concerns, comments, etc. Cool. Busy Mountain, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Cool. All right, so we'll go ahead and cut it there, folks. I will have my Patreon show this afternoon at 4:30, as long as nothing crazy happens. And I will be working on trying to get some interviews set up for this next couple of weeks. We'll see. I want to add some more content for the Patreon folks there. Realistically, that helps the channel out, but it's $5 a month, which is not a lot. I really wish I could just do another show out here on YouTube and not be worried about it being pulled offline. As we do talk about things on the Patreon that, well, those videos would get ripped offline, and so would the whole channel, and get the whole thing banned. So that's why that's there. Those of you who are part of it, I really do appreciate that. Let's see here. Your son wants to be a computer engineer. Any advice? So, to merge into blockchain. All right. So, Manny, I think I would suggest the best thing for that one, actually, and I know you guys probably already know this. I'll put this here, but I'll throw it out there anyway. Let's see. Ivan on Tech. If you go look at his stuff, I'm pretty sure this is his thing here. If you want to learn, yeah, this is it. If you want to learn blockchain, I suggest you go to this guy, check him out. They are for sure. The average blockchain developer earns 200K plus a year. That is on the low end now. That's $400,000 or $500,000 a year. Okay. Blockchain technology is a really, really good thing. If you want to learn how to go do that kind of stuff, go check out Ivan Tech. He is the best overall that I've seen that. Him get in there and discover. But if he wants to do computer engineering, does he have a computer now? If he has a computer now, well, let's put it this way. When my kids when they're to the point to where they need their own computer for school or whatever, they're building it themselves. I'm going to require that they do a research project and tell me what is the different components of a computer, what they do, how they work, and then I'm going to require that they obtain those parts and give me a parts list, and then I'm going to make sure that they go and obtain those parts, and then they're going to put it together. And the only thing I'm going to do is say, here's YouTube, here's some articles, you figure it out, and that will solidify it permanently. If that's kind of how I started, and I will be honest with you, is one of the coolest things to watch something that you build literally from a technology perspective come alive. If they're into coding, that's a very different discussion entirely. There's a ton of information online for that kind of stuff. So yeah, Manny, for sure, I would highly, highly suggest having them build their own computer from the ground up, from nothing into something. They can use Linux operating system or Windows. Windows is usually easier to just install. It gives you a foundation. Linux is technically easier, but it gives you a foundation to understand what to do, how to do, set the BIOS settings, things like that, right? So anyways, kind of long-winded answer there for you, but that is how I plan on doing things. That's how I did things. I was a kid. I was a young child whenever I built my first computer. Computers weren't really a thing then. So there was very little information out there. I did a lot of trial and error. Now you literally just find a YouTube video and it will show you exactly what to do. But I want, for me, my kids, they're going to learn on their own with it so that they learn how to research with it at the same time. It's a double win there. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. You guys and gals have a beautiful and wonderful day, and I will see you all at 4:30 this afternoon. The Patreon. See ya.